City Skylines 2 is just around the corner. In fact, it comes out in 3 days from the creation of this video. So, today we got a couple things to talk about. There was a new developer diary that came out actually yesterday, October 20th, at around 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it goes over how companies and billboards will react to your city. So, it starts with saying City Skylines 2 introduces companies as a working entity. They will move into the city if there is enough demand and influence the availability of jobs and the type of education needed. Companies contribute to city wealth and can import and export goods from outside the city. These features can greatly influence how you build public transportation within the city and outside connections to neighboring cities. This type of industries that are in the city also impact the types of companies that move in. Industry types will attract companies that can utilize materials from those industries. So, what that means is if you are growing a bunch of crops, you're most likely to see businesses that utilize those crops, like bakeries and restaurants and grocery stores, things like that. However, if you produce more oil and ore, for example, you're most likely to see gas stations and other assets like that. And then it goes kind of in depth on how billboards work within the city, saying billboards have a function and meaning beyond being static advertisements like in City Skylines 1 on buildings. After a location has been zoned, companies that operate in that zone type can start to move in. When a company moves into the building, it will display its logo on the billboard. The amount, size, and style of billboards of a building varies and is not the same each time the building appears in the game. For the company to stay in the location, it will need utilities, materials, and workers, while also being profitable. Access to the location plays a big part in this, as does the level of education in the city. Cargo routes can be a great help in keeping companies in business. So in City Skylines 1, when a building would appear, it would be that one type of building and it wouldn't have any sort of other variations. However, in City Skylines 2, you can see that buildings will have a different type of paint jobs. So when a company moves in, they can also paint the building in the company colors. Different buildings may take on more color from the logo than others. The color can show up as a highlight color of the details of the building or as the main wall color. Some buildings can have more than one color from the logo and the different elements. So here in this image, you can see that the main logo has some orange in it and gray and white, and you can see how the building is colored accordingly based on the logo. Obviously, everybody's a big fan of Chirper. I mean, at least most people. I'm usually one to mute him as soon as I start the game. In the second iteration of City Skylines 2, chirps inform you about what's happening in the city. Citizen chirps about their lives and service providers, about how the services are working. Companies also chirp about moving in, opening new locations, open positions, and more. They can be found in the Chirper along with the other chirps. Companies show an icon for their logo next to their name, and the street address of their location is often in the chirp. Company production chains. Companies are a part of the production chain, and one company can own and operate a production chain from harvesting and storing raw materials to producing and selling a final product to customers. Each company has a zone type where they can operate a material they produce or sell. So pretty much one company can own several facilities. So if you zone a farm, you may see another building that's more for processing. And then that processed stuff can go to a third building that's also owned by that same company, which then makes the items and ships it out for exports or pretty much ships it around your city. So this is a pretty interesting dynamic that you didn't really see in City Skylines 1. It allows for more in-depth organizations to form within your city, and I think it'll provide a lot more content and differences between each business, so not everything seems so copy and paste. However, of course, if you've seen any of the creators that have been putting out City Skylines 2 content, you can see that there's not much of a variables when it comes to like homes and stuff like that. You put down the North American homes, they tend to all kind of look the same. So hopefully we see more updates when it comes to those. Before a company has moved into the building, billboards will advertise space available in that location. These were designed to make it easier to spot where there are still empty buildings without a company. You'll see a basic logo that pretty much says your ad here, your company ad here, advertise your company here, etc. There are a few variations on the empty space available advertisements, but they can all be easily recognized from further away by the similar blue color scheme. Color variety. Creating a large amount of logos in a variety of styles to make sure no one color dominates the billboard landscape proved an interesting puzzle to solve. Our approach was to make a chart with the background colors and columns and build a logo on top. The tricky part was to add an equal amount of logos to each column while keeping the colors and logos different enough from each other. There are some old familiar names from City Skylines that have gotten a makeover and plenty of new ones. The brands also include a few nods and are developers in some wordplays. Accessibility. With the colors chosen, it was time to make sure that each logo was distinct and readable. That meant checking that some logos were darker, some were lighter, and that some were bright colors and some muted tones. In this process, we also made sure that each logo was readable for the colorblind. Finding the color combinations that would fulfill all these criteria was quite challenging and a little frustrating at times, but one of the most interesting and fun things to figure out. That's all we have for today. I will link this forum down below for you to read into. I will also link the update about the economy and production. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and leave a comment below on what else you want to see based on City Skylines 2. So other than that, you guys have a wonderful day, and bye-bye.